How
Great.
are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I am so good. The beaches just opened today in California. So, yeah, people are pretty excited. So, I got a quick run on the beach and got to be outside, which was so nice.
There you go. I'm probably going to say any of our local Southern Indiana or Louisville people are very jealous to hear.
I've heard the weather's been interesting there.
Every day is different. It's like it could be 70 and then it's 35 and it's rain all day. It's like Seattle right now.
Crazy. I don't know if you know, but we're actually moving back at the end of the month. So yeah, we're preparing ourselves for the weather.
Just bring back some of the California weather. We'll all be good. We'll all be happy.
I've got my fingers crossed. We are not used to that kind of weather anymore, that's for sure.
And someone just said they have the snow yesterday in New York. Oh,
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's going to be really tough when we get there and it's winter or like in December. It's going to be very interesting. We'll probably like be taking lots of trips.
it'll just be gone from November to about April, and then you'll come back.
Yeah. Well, we've decided we'll be like 30-year-old snowbirds. So,
There you go. It works.
right?
Well, cool.
So,
Well, it looks like we're getting people on here. I'm assuming you've done Instagram lives before.
I've done a couple. I actually don't do them very often. I mean, Instagram is like one of my favorite platforms, but I don't use live on it very often. But obviously, I have on Facebook, and one of my programs is run on Facebook. So yeah, we'll roll with it. It's always hard to like have a conversation and keep up with comments, but I'm sure we'll just do the best we can if people have questions.
Perfect. Awesome. So I'm sure a lot of people, especially your followers who are popping on, clearly know you, know who you are. But for those who don't or might need a refresher, we have Lindsey Mango here with us, who is a life coach, specifically helping women. And, in reading and knowing a little bit about your story, how, you weren't satisfied with what you were doing in your life. Working a corporate job, not feeling fulfilled in work life, relationships. You had to make a change, you had to do something, and then everything kind of just seemed to fall into place at the right time, and ended up now being a life coach, and now what you're doing, helping women pretty much achieve the same goals that you wanted to achieve years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean that's ultimately what inspired me to get into this work was when I was feeling like super stuck in my own life, and I actually had met a life coach and learned all of the skills and the tools that I teach my clients. It just changed everything, and then the momentum just started building, and everything started to fall into place, just like you said. So that's why I'm so passionate about teaching and serving other people. I mean, women, of course, is who I specialize in, but I love just sharing what I know because it changed my life so drastically.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I know during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've asked a lot of people, how are you doing personally with, what you may be experiencing the last 2 months in your own life?
Yeah, so personally, my husband and I joke that since we work for ourselves, we both of us, and we work from home, that a lot of the things like our day-to-day life isn't super different because we're at home and we're doing the same things, and I've kept my structure pretty much the same, my day-to-day life, which has helped a lot. I would say, we're moving out of California, like I mentioned earlier, so it's just been kind of tough not being able to go do all the amazing things before we head out. And literally this past weekend, I finally, which is funny, it's been 2 months, but I'm kind of like an introverted extrovert. So I've been okay with being like stuffed away at home. But last weekend I was like, okay, I'm getting a little like over this. I'm ready to like go to dinner or go do something fun or get out of the house. But overall, I've actually used this time to really refocus myself on my goals, my mission, my personal goals, whereas it comes to like health, my marriage, everything. And so we've just really used this time to refocus and make strides on the goals that I personally have, which I think has been really helpful for, you know, thriving during this time instead of kind of feeling stuck during this time.
Oh yeah, because it's, I mean, even if you've had, you know, a few weeks of, you know, being on top of it, being with your structure, it's so easy that 1-2 days to just kind of fall off the wagon. And, you know, once you fall off, it's kind of hard to get back on.
Totally. 100%. Yeah.
What would you say, you know, if you're thinking back in the last 2 months, what's something that the one thing that you have changed or done differently that you think this is really going to help me for the rest of the year or for the rest of my life?
I would say I actually really recommitted to my health goals and improving my health during this time. I knew how easy it would be being stuck at home to just, and not, I usually go to the gym, so I knew how easy it would be to get stuck at home and like sitting on the couch and eating snacks because I'm bored and like not moving my body. So I just took this time to, I committed for 30 days actually in one of my programs, my main program. I did like a 30-day kind of focus with them, and I joined in on the challenge, and it was about becoming healthier, wealthier, and happier in 30 days. And so I just spent the last month really shifting my mindset around my health and seeing this as something that I was doing for me instead of like a chore or something that I had to do, and really recommitting to treating my body well, moving my body like every single day, finding exercise that I enjoy, even though I can't go to the gym. And so I think that is something that for a couple months after I got married, I kind of just started to let my like health fall by the wayside. And so recommitting to that, refocusing in that has really changed how I feel the past 2 months, but I know will kind of continue to change the trajectory of my whole year.
I love that. Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I dusted off the Peloton bike.
Yeah.
Literally had to dust it off. And, you know, last 2 weeks, I'm like, I feel so much better every single day just committing to that 20 to 45 minutes of spending that time on yourself to take care of your health. It makes a drastic change.
Oh my gosh. I mean, endorphins are real. Like, it's just when you have that burst of good feel, like it literally scientifically boosts your endorphins. And when we're stuck in the house and we can't do much, it's such an important component.
Yeah, definitely. So I'd say I love the 30-day challenge idea. So, you know, what are other ways that you have continued to connect with your clients, you know, during this time? Have you changed anything up or changed messaging at all for them?
So I did do, like I said, so I have one signature program. My business is all run virtually anyway, so that luckily I didn't have that additional new challenge in my business. But I decided, you know, I thought about my clients and I thought about my audience, and I thought a lot about like, what do they need right now, which is why I did do the 30-day challenge, and I implemented it. Like I usually do 2 live coaching sessions in there. I literally did lives every single day during the week for the entire month of April to really help support them consistently in there. And then because I knew they would need that. I knew that this was going to be such an uncertain time. A lot was going to be coming up and getting in the way of their goals. And I really wanted to be there to support them in that. And then on the other side, I just with my audience, same thing. I've just been focusing on, you know, what are they experiencing right now? So I believe that our perspective is what like creates the experience that we have. And while I personally haven't been super impacted by COVID-19, like my life and how I'm operating, I know that it is impacting lots of people. So, you know, I did with my husband, actually, we're both coaches. I did we did a live coaching session where we donated proceeds to help with COVID efforts, actually in Louisville, because that's our hometown. I've been doing some free trainings for my audience to support them in this. And also just in my messaging, you know, connecting it back to, like, I literally wake up every day and I like journal and think about what is my ideal person experiencing right now. And so my messaging and what I have to say and share has definitely changed a little bit because there's new circumstances that have been added to the forefront of their minds. And I know they needed a little bit more and different support in that.
Yeah, I love that. That's perfect because, yeah, I mean, like we talked about, you know, getting back to mindset. You know, it's hard to change mindset, and you know, that's really what you do with your clients. I mean, you're taking someone who's in a mindset that, you know, isn't the best for them, and you work with them to help them change that to reach their goals. So could you kind of walk us through, you know, what does that journey look like for, you know, I'm sure every journey is different. So, you know, what are some of your experiences with your clients?
Yeah, so I focus on three things. I focus on helping my clients master their mind first, because that's like the computer running everything, and then master themselves. So like their commitments and their habits, and then master their actions, because in order to create results, we have to be taking action. For me, everything, I mean, what I teach, what I represent is that everything comes down to our mindset. And so that journey always looks like, for any client, I mean, obviously, like you said, everyone's client's different, but it's always about identifying what is their current perspective about themselves, their goals, and what they're working towards achieving, because that always tells me a lot about why they're creating the results that they're creating. So I think about the brain as, I'm not going to get too scientific on you, but I think about the brain as like, it's like a computer. And we and our subconscious beliefs, things that we've learned our entire life from our experiences, and all the fears that we have, like regardless of whether they're legitimate or not, are like programs that have been entered into our computer, sometimes from the time we were like 5 years old, that we don't even realize are there. And so those programs don't usually serve us to create change. Like I always tell clients that the human brain isn't wired to create an amazing life. It is wired to be efficient and use as little energy as possible and to keep you alive. And so it's got all of these frameworks and these programs that, you know, keep you alive. And I always joke with my clients that your brain would rather have you sit on the couch and watch Netflix all day, like, and eat bonbons, because that would be more efficient and easier. There's less to be afraid of than actually going out and stretching yourself and doing uncomfortable things and doing things that you've never done before. And so that's one of the biggest things I work with my clients on, is just their commitments to this work and committing to work together. They're committing to taking the journey of like resistance of all of these programs that have been built into their mind that are going to hold them back, that are going to want to keep them safe, and helping them see why they're there. You know, like, for example, is something there because when you were like 10 years old, you know, didn't make the soccer team and now you're afraid to put yourself out there. Like, these things hold us back from creating amazing results and amazing lives. And so you know, psychology and therapy is much more past focused, whereas coaching is more future focused. But sometimes we're like, okay, well, what are the things that are holding you back? What perspective do you have about creating results? And then I take that and work on helping them create new belief systems, new thinking, new perspective, so that they can create new results. So again, it's like, if I'm trying to think of an example, if someone their entire life has attempted stuff, and like to lose weight, to find their passion, to whatever it is, create success, and every time they've fallen short, then they probably have a program in their mind that says, like, it's never worked before, like it's probably not going to work again, right? And if you take that belief, it doesn't matter how hard you try, which is one of the most frustrating things for clients, is that they're like, some of them try so hard to change. That's how I was. Like, I wanted a different life so bad, but it was like, no matter what I did, I just kept getting stuck in the same spot. And it's because of these belief systems and my perspective about things. So if they, like, what we'll do is we'll take, okay, this belief that it's never worked before, our brain loves to say that, it hasn't worked before, it probably won't work again. and like witnessing it and then having my perspective come into the equation, where I always tell people, I'm like, that's logic. It makes sense to our brain, but it doesn't make sense at all. Because if that were the case, no one would ever be able to create a new result, because of course it hasn't happened yet. You haven't gotten the result that you want. And so we work on shifting that to something that they can actually get on board with, like, it hasn't happened yet, which means that I'm actually just one step closer to creating the result that I want. And when you look at that, that's going to serve someone so much more to keep showing up and doing things differently and stay consistent in order to create results.
And I love that. I love that just little snippet you said. It hasn't happened yet.
Yes. Yeah, it's such a simple shift, but our brain, if it's programmed to be like, it hasn't happened yet, so like, or it never worked before, it's just a sneaky way that it will keep you from kind of like, I mean, pardon my language, but like you'll start half-assing stuff because you're like, I mean, what's the point? It hasn't worked in the past. And just that small shift, I think about, I don't play golf. I don't know if you do, but I think about like a golf swing, right? Like, if your golf swing is literally like a centimeter off to the right, that's not a big difference in the early trajectory of the golf ball, but over time, you get further and further from the hole. So that's how I think about these small shifts, is that just adjusting it like 1 centimeter could be the difference between a hole in one and it going into the trees.
Yeah, I play golf socially, so I know what being off more of like a few inches and what that result looks like. So I totally agree. But I mean, funny you bring up golf, because I took two golf lessons and went from not being able to hit the ball straight like 99 out of 100 times to, changing one thing about how I started off my swing. And I was like, the ball just went straight. It didn't go far, but it went straight.
Oh, I love that. Maybe I played college volleyball, and so I'm super competitive. And so I like tried golf once, and I was like, I'm terrible at this. And so I just like stopped. I was like, I'll have to try lessons maybe.
Well, when you come back, we'll get you and Chris on the golf course, and we'll just have a great time trying golf.
Yeah, he's not good either, so it would be interesting.
We'll bring one good golfer. Then that way we can at least look like we know what we're doing.
Or we'll bring one bad golfer, and then we'll look really good.
That would work too. That would work. I love it. I love it. So in working with your clients, changing habits is it's a hard thing to do, especially something you've trained your mind to think a certain way for years, or you've just done certain things for years and years and years, and now you want to change. It's not going to happen overnight. Mm-hmm. So, how long do you say it takes for, a client to really start to break into changing mindset to, start working what you're offering them to get to their goals?
So it actually is really interesting. It does take consistent work over time, just like anything else. But I have a lot of clients who see shifts like within 30 days, because just the commitment of them hiring a coach and investing in themselves takes a transformation in their mind. It's them putting their money where their mouth is and saying, I'm making this a priority, because I'm always thinking in best case scenario, but then also making sure that my clients and myself have tools for worst case scenario, which is sometimes what we kind of avoid as we start a workout plan and thinking like, okay, I don't even have Oreos in the cabinet, like we're good. But then we're not prepared for when your husband brings home a pizza and all of those pieces. So I always think about, like I said, impossibility, but then when people commit to coaching and hire me as their coach and get in my program, anything but average, they basically are saying like, okay, I'm believe that the result that I want is a possibility for me. And I'm hiring the help and the support that I need for when my brain does wander off and do crazy things, or for when my circumstances aren't supporting my goals, so that I can come and get coaching and get help and actually work through it. So I always tell people, it's like, you want to like you hire a coach to help you create your goals, and like some of them will like have all these transformations at first and then they get stuck in a rut. And I'm like, this is the moment you actually hired me for, because this is where your trajectory changes. This is where you normally stop. So it really doesn't take as long as people think, because again, just the transformation of committing and being like, I'm willing to invest in myself and make this a priority is such a huge shift. But then, you know, some clients might take 3 months, 6 months, a year to start really getting that momentum going and starting to create massive results. But it's pretty amazing. I mean, I have clients who have been trying to like build a business for months, come in and like sign a bunch of clients because of the shift that they make the minute they make that decision. But I also think like I still, you know, it's interesting, those programmed belief systems are so ingrained. Like I always compare them to, like we were just talking about snow, like walking through the snow. If you walked through the snow in the same spot for 30 years of your life, that's going to be a deep like line. So what we're trying to do is create a new way. And even as you build it, sometimes given different circumstances, your brain automatically jumps back into that path that's been there for 30 years. So even for me, I joke with my clients sometimes that like I'll go to Whole Foods and, you know, buy whatever, wine, crab legs, all of the things, and I still have to catch, that's not a problem, but I still have to catch my brain sometimes jumping in and being like, we should be scared. Like, is this okay? And I'm like, what's happening? This is ridiculous. But that's how powerful our minds, subconscious minds are. And so I really think it's mostly about being committed to this work for forever, and really like going back to the drawing board and being like, oh, this thing's coming up again that I thought I worked through. And that's why like my program, actually my clients get lifetime access to it, so they can keep working through it over and over again in different areas of their life, because it really is like a lifelong commitment of growth and evolution.
I love that. I love that. So in your, you know, meeting with your clients, do you do, you know, a mixture of one-on-one, or is it group, or so how does it look?
Yeah, so I actually used to do one-on-one. That's how I started my entire business. But now I don't take one-on-one clients on anymore. The one program that I offer is called Anything But Average. And right now I actually do 2 lives in there every week. So one of them, I actually teach a new concept that I'm developing. And then the second one is just what I call open coaching. So they literally show up, they can ask me for coaching on anything as they implement what we're working on. And then they get access to, basically I created a body of work of like what I believe every single client needs foundationally to create results and mastering their mind, themselves, and their actions. It's got like 40 videos. So basically I wanted to be able to serve more people at the highest level possible and give them more effective results. So that's why I've structured it that way. And then they get unlimited access to the community, like inside the community, where they can ask questions literally at any time as they're going through the process. Because what I have found when I build a program, and when I built this program, I structured it for like peak results. That's the goal of this work. Like I always tell people, I'm like, positive self-talk is great, but if it's not changing your life, like who cares? That's why you're here. So I structured it in a way where like they're all individuals. Of course, they're going to be applying this work for different things in their life. They're going to need some catered help and coaching and support, which is why there's the lives and the ability for them to ask questions. But then there's also other things that they all need to learn, which is what they learn through the actual, they get like a login and they can go through the portal through those videos.
I like it. I like it. So in the community, are your clients able to connect with each other?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Which has been really cool, actually. It's, you know, something that I see with a lot of this work, and I'm sure you experience too, because you're obviously growth focused, is that we're not always surrounded by a lot of people who have a growth mindset and who can support us in this journey. And so bringing together, I mean, I have women from all over the world in there, bringing them together who some of them, like, English isn't even their first language, but they come in and they figure it out. The connecting with each other, supporting each other, celebrating each other, and, like, you know, even answering questions when I, like, don't get to it immediately. So it's just really cool to watch them feel like, one, I'm not alone in this journey. Two, I have support, like, from other women all around the world. And three, like, they don't feel, a lot of us feel like our problems or our challenges are really unique to us, and that, like, nobody gets it. And when we hear that somebody else has the exact same fear or doubt or whatever it is, you feel very seen and heard, and, like, there's nothing wrong with you, which is such a key component in growth. Like, there's nothing wrong. Like, we just have these things that we have to evolve through. So that's really amazing to watch and witness as well.
Yeah, I heard, I've been listening to a lot of different speakers, motivational, during these last 2 months, just to, you know, keep my mindset positive and going in the right direction. And I forgot the exact wording, so I'm probably going to butcher it by the guy who said it. But, you know, he said, what you consider being one of your problems, someone else would consider that as a blessing.
Mm-hmm. So, oh, I love that.
Yeah, so I was like,
so good.
Yeah, because I mean, thinking about, I'll complain about changing poopy diapers, but someone else who may be struggling to have kids or in a different situation would love to have that problem, because that means they would have a family. So, you know, just trying to change your mindset to start thinking about, you know, and I even started to try to put a list together in my head of things that, you know, I might complain about or might nag me. Like, how can I change my mind to think differently about those, you know, little bits of negativity that try to float into my brain.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, your perspective is everything about anything that's going on in your life. Like, I always tell my clients that I have compassion for anyone's circumstances that are challenging or whatever they are, but I always tell them that it's my job to not, like, I call it jumping into the pool with them. Like, it's my job to see that that there is a blessing in it, that there is a gift in it, and the question I always ask them, and anybody watching, that I recommend using, is like, how is this happening for me? It's such a powerful thing to look at, because, you know, it's easy to be like, oh, well, how is the weather happening for me? I can sit inside and work on something because it's raining all day. But it is a challenging question to answer when, say, COVID-19 costs one of you your jobs, right? But, like, if you really stretch your brain and challenge yourself to find an answer, you will, and that answer will fuel you forward, instead of feeling like, why did this happen to me, or why is this happening? Because that takes all of your power away.
Yeah, definitely does. So I know I don't want to keep you too long. I know your time is very valuable, and you have a lot of clients to take care of. So I guess, you know, if people have watched this, or people who will watch it, are interested in connecting with you, you know, what would be the best way for them to reach out to you and get more information?
Yeah, so I'm here. Like, this is my jam. Instagram's where I hang out the most. So you can always follow me, connect with me on here. I also have a podcast called Anything But Average. So literally every single week on Wednesday, a new episode goes live, sharing, like, real tools and techniques you can use to shift and grow and create results in your life. Like, it's actually so fun. Like, people will text me and be like, I started my business just by listening to your podcast, or I got a promotion, or I, you know, lost weight. Like, so it is, like, very effective, and I recommend starting there for anyone who isn't at the point who can work with me. But my program's open all of the time. So when people are ready to finally make changes, they can also connect with me on there. So Instagram, my podcast, Anything But Average. And yeah, if you have one of those two places, you'll get sent in the right direction.
That's perfect. Well, thank you a lot. And, you know, thank you so much for being on here with us. And we look forward to having you, you know, back in the Louisville area soon.
Yeah, us too. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let me know if there's anything else I can do for you all as well. And if people are buying houses, connect with you.
All right. I appreciate it.
See ya.
See ya.